You thought Friday was just another comedy, but the truth behind the scenes is downright insane. From behind the camera chaos to cast secrets and moments that almost never made it to film, the making of this 90s classic was full of surprises. Some of the funniest, wildest stories were never meant to be seen by fans. Here are the weird facts about Friday, 1995, that most people never noticed. Number 1. Shot in just 20 days. Despite operating on a shoestring budget of only $3.5 million, Friday achieved something extraordinary. It was shot in just 20 days. This lightning-fast production schedule required incredible coordination, discipline, and creativity from the entire cast and crew. Director F. Gary Gray, making his feature film debut, relied on his familiarity with South Central Los Angeles to streamline the shoot. Instead of expensive studio sets, the team filmed on real neighborhood streets, using actual houses and local hangouts to capture the community's spirit and authenticity. This not only saved time and money, but also gave Friday its unmistakable sense of realism. Every location told a story. The front porches, corner stores, and sun-soaked yards reflected genuine daily life in the neighborhood. In a touching nod to his own roots, Gray even included his childhood home in the background of one memorable scene, when Debo punches Red. That detail symbolized the film's deep personal connection to its environment. The cast and crew's commitment to authenticity turned what could have been a simple comedy into a cultural landmark that still resonates with audiences decades later, proving that heartfelt storytelling doesn't require Hollywood grandeur, just truth and community. Number 2. A breakout role for Chris Tucker. Friday wasn't just a cult comedy hit. It was the movie that turned Chris Tucker into a star. Before landing the role of Smokey, Tucker was a rising stand-up comedian known for his lightning-fast delivery and sharp humor. But Friday gave him the perfect stage to showcase his comedic brilliance to a global audience. As Smokey, Tucker brought an unforgettable mix of wild energy, charm, and streetwise humor that instantly connected with fans. His expressive face, quick improvisations, and hilarious one-liners, many of which became pop culture staples, made the character the heart and soul of the film. Smokey's mischievous antics and non-stop talking provided the perfect balance to Ice Cube's laid-back, deadpan performance as Craig. Together, the duo created one of the most iconic comedic pairings in the 1990s cinema. Tucker's chemistry with the cast felt effortless, and his natural timing gave the movie a spontaneity that still feels fresh decades later. The success of Friday catapulted Tucker into Hollywood's spotlight, leading to major roles in Money Talks, 1997, The Fifth Element, 1997, and ultimately the Rush Hour series, where his high-octane style made him an international sensation. For Tucker, Friday wasn't just a career milestone. It was the moment that transformed him from a stand-up regular into one of the defining comedic voices of his generation. Number 3. Ice Cube's dual role. Friday was more than just another acting gig for Ice Cube. It was a deeply personal project that showcased his creative versatility. Not only did he star as Craig Jones, the film's relatable and easygoing protagonist, but he also co-wrote the screenplay alongside DJ Pooh. At the time, most mainstream depictions of South Central Los Angeles focused on violence, gangs, and tragedy, images that Cube himself had helped bring to the screen in Boys in the Hood, 1991. With Friday, he wanted to tell a different kind of story, one filled with laughter, friendship, and everyday life. Drawing from his own experiences growing up in South Central, Cube infused the script with the neighborhood's real rhythms, its slang, humor, and tight-knit sense of community. He sought to show that, behind the headlines, there was warmth and humanity. The film's simple premise, a day spent on the porch with a best friend, captured that perfectly. Cube's performance as Craig, caught between responsibility and temptation, grounded the comedy with a sense of authenticity and heart. His vision reshaped how audiences viewed black life on screen, proving that stories from tough neighborhoods could be both funny and universal. In doing so, Ice Cube not only solidified his status as a talented actor, but also as a storyteller determined to change the narrative about where he came from. Number 4. Director F. Gary Gray's debut. Friday marked the stunning feature film debut of F. Gary Gray, a young director who, at just 24 years old, managed to capture the soul of South Central Los Angeles with humor, authenticity, and cinematic style. Before Friday, Gray had made a name for himself in the world of music videos, directing visuals for artists like Ice Cube, Dr. Dre, and Outkast. That background gave him a sharp sense of rhythm, visual storytelling, and street-level realism, all of which he poured into Friday. Despite being a first-time filmmaker, Gray handled the challenges of a tight schedule and modest $3.5 million budget with remarkable confidence, guiding his cast through a fast-paced 20-day shoot without losing the film's emotional and comedic core. Gray's direction gave Friday its distinctive tone, a balance between laid-back comedy and heartfelt sincerity. He wasn't trying to glamorize the neighborhood or dramatize its struggles. Instead, he focused on capturing its everyday beauty, the laughter, the friendships, the sense of community. His keen eye for detail made the film feel lived in and authentic, from the sun-drenched streets to the casual banter on front porches. Friday's success launched Gray's Hollywood career, paving the way for him to direct major hits like Set It Off, The Italian Job, and Straight Outta Compton. Even decades later, his debut remains a masterclass in how youthful vision and genuine storytelling can create a timeless, cultural touchstone. Number 5. Real neighborhood locations. One of the key reasons Friday feels so authentic is because it was filmed right in the heart of a real Los Angeles neighborhood, specifically on 126th Street between Normandy and Halldale Avenues, the same block where director F. Gary Gray grew up. By choosing to shoot in his own childhood community, Gray infused the film with a genuine sense of place that no studio backlot could ever replicate. Every shot carries the warmth, familiarity, and texture of real neighborhood life, from the cracked sidewalks and modest homes to the local characters who might have inspired some of the film's most memorable personalities. Many of the houses seen on screen actually belonged to Gray's old friends and neighbors, who welcomed the crew and became part of the production's family-like atmosphere. This intimacy between the cast, crew, and setting helped create the film's laid-back tone, as if viewers were spending the day on that same block with Craig and Smokey. The neighborhood's sunlight, color, and lived-in details became silent characters in the story, grounding its humor in realism. Filming in a real community also symbolized Ice Cube and Gray's shared goal, to show South Central not just as a backdrop for violence or struggle, but as a place filled with laughter, love, and everyday people. The choice of location didn't just enhance authenticity, it preserved a piece of Los Angeles history on film. Number 6. The iconic Bye Felicia line. Few movie quotes have transcended the screen quite like Bye Felicia. Spoken casually by Ice Cube's character Craig Jones in Friday, the line was originally intended as nothing more than a quick, dismissive remark. In the scene, a neighborhood mooch named Felicia, played by Angela Means, approaches Craig and Smokey asking to borrow a car, and maybe a joint. Annoyed, Craig simply waves her off with a cold, effortless, "Bye, Felicia." What neither Ice Cube nor director F. Gary Gray could have predicted was that this short, throwaway line would evolve into one of the most recognizable expressions in modern pop culture. Over time, Bye Felicia became a universal way to dismiss someone annoying or irrelevant, capturing the same attitude and humor that made Friday a classic. The phrase gained a second life in the 2000s and exploded in the 2010s thanks to social media, where it became a viral meme and was used in everything from tweets to television. Even celebrities, including Beyoncé and Nicki Minaj, have referenced it, cementing its place in the cultural lexicon. The line's power lies in its simplicity. It's sharp, funny, and effortlessly cool, just like the film itself. Decades later, Bye Felicia remains a perfect example of how an unscripted moment of attitude can outlive the movie it came from, turning a small slice of dialogue into timeless slang. Number 7. Michael Clarke Duncan's uncredited role. Before. Michael Clarke Duncan became a household name for his Oscar-nominated performance in The Green Mile, 1999. He made a blink-and-you'll-miss-it appearance in Friday, a detail that still delights fans who notice it. In one of the film's flashback scenes, where Red is about to get knocked out by the intimidating Debo, Duncan can be seen briefly kneeling next to Debo, quietly observing the chaos. Though his role was uncredited and lasted only a few seconds, his presence added an extra layer of muscle and realism to the film's street corner dynamic. At the time, Duncan was still working security jobs in Los Angeles while trying to break into acting. His massive physique and gentle charisma would later become his trademarks, but in Friday, he was simply another local face contributing to the film's authentic neighborhood atmosphere. Director F. Gary Gray and the crew often cast friends, aspiring actors, and local talent to fill background roles, which helped the movie feel genuine rather than staged. For Duncan, that small, unnoticed moment was the quiet beginning of an extraordinary career that would see him rise from an extra to a Hollywood star. Looking back, his appearance in Friday stands as a fascinating footnote, a reminder that even legends have humble, easily missed beginnings hidden in the background of great films. Number 8. The lavish lava lamp. Among the many small but memorable details that make Friday feel so authentic, one of the most iconic is the blue lava lamp glowing in Smokey's room. Sitting prominently on his dresser, the lamp isn't just a background prop. It subtly reflects Smokey's laid-back, dreamy, and slightly chaotic personality. The swirling blue liquid moving inside the lamp mirrors the haze and rhythm of his world, one where time seems to flow slowly, punctuated by jokes, smoke sessions, and neighborhood drama. It's the kind of personal touch that gives Friday its lived-in atmosphere and transforms simple spaces into reflections of the characters themselves. For director F. Gary Gray, small set details like this were essential to building the film's tone. The lava lamp, paired with Smokey's posters, clothes, and cluttered surroundings, helped define him as a carefree young man caught between adolescence and adulthood, a guy who spends his days hanging out, laughing, and avoiding responsibility. The lamp's soft, trippy glow also enhanced the film's relaxed, summertime vibe, grounding it in 1990s youth culture. Though it may seem like an insignificant piece of decor, the lava lamp has since become a nostalgic symbol for fans, a tiny visual reminder of Friday's humor, warmth, and timeless cool. It's proof that sometimes the smallest details tell the biggest stories. Number 9. The director's cameo. Like many great filmmakers before him, F. Gary Gray couldn't resist stepping in front of the camera in his directorial debut, Friday. In a brief but memorable cameo, Gray appears as the janitor in the convenience store, casually sweeping the floor as chaos unfolds around him. It's an easy moment to miss if you're not looking for it, but for fans and film buffs, the appearance is a charming Easter egg, a personal signature that connects the director even more closely to his creation. At just 24 years old, Gray was not only orchestrating every scene behind the camera, but also finding ways to inject his personality into the story. His cameo symbolizes his deep investment in the project, both as a filmmaker and as someone who grew up in the very neighborhood the movie celebrates. Rather than making the moment self-indulgent, Gray's appearance feels natural, just another face in the local community he worked so hard to portray authentically. The cameo also reflects a long-standing Hollywood tradition, echoing filmmakers like Alfred Hitchcock and Spike Lee, who often inserted themselves subtly into their films. For Gray, it was a light-hearted nod to his roots and his pride in bringing Friday to life. That brief moment on screen serves as a reminder that Friday wasn't just a movie to him. It was a personal story told from the inside out. Number 10. Realistic dialogue. Inspired by personal experience. One of the defining strengths of Friday lies in its dialogue. Sharp, funny, and incredibly real. Ice Cube and DJ Pooh, who co-wrote the screenplay, didn't rely on exaggerated movie slang or polished studio lines. Instead, they pulled directly from their own lives and the conversations they grew up hearing in South Central Los Angeles. The result was dialogue that felt natural, spontaneous, and rooted in everyday rhythm. Whether it was Craig's laid-back banter, Smokey's non-stop storytelling, or Miss Parker's flirtatious charm, every exchange sounded like something you might overhear on a real front porch on a hot afternoon. That authenticity was what made audiences instantly connect to the film. People didn't just laugh at the jokes. They recognized themselves, their neighbors, and their friends in the characters' words. The dialogue's mix of humor, honesty, and local flavor turned simple moments, like arguing about chores or dodging Debo, into scenes that felt universal. Gray encouraged improvisation on set, allowing actors to expand on the script's rhythm and make their lines sound even more organic. This blend of lived experience and creative freedom gave Friday its unique voice, a voice that captured both the humor and humanity of Black urban life. It wasn't just written dialogue. It was a conversation with the culture that raised it, and that's why it still feels fresh decades later. Number 11. The significance of the pineapple. In a film celebrated for its small but meaningful details, few are as quietly symbolic as the pineapple sitting on the counter beside Craig during his phone conversation with his girlfriend. At first glance, it seems like a random piece of set decoration, just another household item in a typical kitchen. But its inclusion perfectly reflects Friday's commitment to capturing the texture of everyday life. Director F. Gary Gray and co-writers Ice Cube and DJ Pooh wanted the film to feel authentic, not staged. And that meant filling each frame with the kinds of ordinary details that give a home character. The pineapple, vibrant and slightly out of place, embodies the warmth, humor, and realism that make Friday so relatable. Beyond its aesthetic role, the pineapple subtly complements the tone of the scene. As Craig deals with relationship frustrations, the fruit's bright, summery presence contrasts his irritation, grounding the moment in domestic familiarity. It's a reminder that the film's beauty lies not in grand gestures, but in the realness of its world. The cluttered kitchens, casual conversations, and lived-in feel of a South Central household. Every prop in Friday serves a purpose, whether practical or symbolic. The pineapple, though small, reinforces the film's core philosophy. Even the most ordinary moments can be full of color, humor, and truth when viewed with affection and authenticity. Number 12. The color red was banned. During the filming of Friday, the production team made a deliberate and serious decision. The color red was banned on set. This wasn't a stylistic choice. It was a matter of safety and cultural sensitivity. At the time, South Central Los Angeles was still deeply affected by gang tensions, with colors like red and blue symbolizing rival affiliations, the Bloods and Crips. Director F. Gary Gray and co-writer Ice Cube wanted to portray their neighborhood with humor, honesty, and heart, not as a battleground. To ensure that the film stayed neutral and avoided any unintended gang associations, they prohibited red clothing, accessories, and even background elements that could be misinterpreted. This careful attention to detail reflected the filmmakers' understanding of their environment and their desire to keep the production respectful and authentic. Friday was meant to show the everyday life of South Central residents, the laughter, community, and small struggles, not to glorify or reference gang culture. By controlling the visual palette, Gray subtly emphasized the film's peaceful tone and shifted focus away from stereotypes. The absence of red also contributed to the film's cohesive, sun-drenched aesthetic, dominated by earth tones and natural colors that made the neighborhood feel real and inviting. This thoughtful decision not only kept the crew safe during on-location shooting, but also underscored Friday's mission to redefine how the world saw South Central through humor, humanity, and unity instead of conflict. Number 13. Smokey's Black Ford Pinto. One of the most memorable running gags in Friday comes from Smokey's beat-up Black Ford Pinto, a car that perfectly mirrors his chaotic and carefree personality. Far from being a slick Hollywood ride, the Pinto, with its rattling engine, dented body, and notoriously bad brakes, became an extension of Smokey himself. Unpredictable, hilarious, and full of attitude. In one particularly funny scene, Smokey struggles to park the car, wrestling with the brakes and nearly colliding in the process. The moment captures his lovable recklessness and adds a dose of physical comedy that instantly connects with audiences. The decision to give Smokey a Pinto wasn't random. Director F. Gary Gray and co-writers Ice Cube and DJ Pooh wanted every detail in the film to reflect real life in South Central Los Angeles during the 1990s. Many young people drove older, unreliable cars, not out of choice, but because that's what they could afford. Smokey's car symbolizes that reality, while also serving as a visual punchline. Its squeaky, sputtering presence adds to the humor and authenticity that define the movie. Beyond the laughs, the Pinto subtly emphasizes Smokey's struggle between responsibility and immaturity. He wants freedom, but can barely keep control of his own ride. The Black Ford Pinto may only appear briefly, but it's become one of those small, unforgettable touches that help Friday feel both genuine and endlessly funny. Number 14. The film's unexpected success. When Friday hit theaters in 1995, few expected it to become the cultural phenomenon it ultimately did. With a modest budget of just $3.5 million, the film was a small-scale comedy rooted in the daily lives of South Central Los Angeles residents. Yet audiences responded immediately to its humor, relatability, and authenticity, propelling it to a remarkable $27.4 million worldwide at the box office, a staggering return on investment for a low-budget debut. Critics praised its clever dialogue, memorable characters, and the effortless chemistry between Ice Cube and Chris Tucker, while fans embraced its portrayal of neighborhood life with warmth, laughter, and unmistakable charm. The success of Friday didn't just stop at financial achievement, it sparked a franchise that would continue to grow in popularity. Next Friday, 2000, and Friday After Next, 2002, expanded the world of Craig, Smokey, and their colorful neighbors, introducing new characters while keeping the original's humor and heart intact. Beyond sequels, Friday influenced countless filmmakers, comedians, and audiences, proving that films with authentic voices and relatable stories could resonate widely without relying on big budgets or blockbuster formulas. Today, the movie's success is measured not only in box office numbers, but in its lasting imprint on pop culture. From catchphrases like "Bye Felicia" to its role in launching the careers of stars like Chris Tucker, Friday remains a testament to the power of humor, authenticity, and storytelling rooted in real life. Number 15. The role of music in the film. Music plays a central role in defining the tone, atmosphere, and cultural impact of Friday. The film's soundtrack, a vibrant mix of hip-hop and R&B, perfectly captured the energy and rhythm of mid-1990s South Central Los Angeles, grounding the story in its community while amplifying its humor and style. From laid-back grooves to upbeat tracks, the music underscored both the comedic and everyday moments, turning ordinary neighborhood interactions into scenes that felt alive, dynamic, and distinctly rooted in the era. Songs punctuated key moments, like Craig and Smokey hanging out on the porch or cruising through the streets, enhancing the sense of time, place, and personality in ways dialogue alone could not achieve. Beyond mood, the soundtrack also contributed to the film's cultural relevance. By featuring contemporary artists and sounds that resonated with its target audience, Friday reflected the music that defined the lives of the people it depicted. The beats and lyrics became intertwined with the film's humor, characters, and even fashion, cementing its authenticity. Hip-hop and R&B weren't just background noise. They were part of the storytelling, shaping the audience's experience and reinforcing the everyday realities of neighborhood life. This thoughtful integration of music helped Friday transcend a simple comedy, establishing it as a cultural touchstone that celebrated the sounds, style, and spirit of its community. The soundtrack remains as iconic as the film itself, continuing to influence fans and filmmakers decades later. Number 16. The influence of Hollywood shuffle and in-living color. Friday's comedic voice and cultural sensibility were heavily inspired by earlier works that broke ground in portraying Black life with humor and honesty. Robert Townsend's Hollywood Shuffle, 1987, a satirical film that lampooned stereotypes in Hollywood, served as a major influence on director F. Gary Gray and co-writer Ice Cube. Townsend's blend of sharp social commentary and irreverent comedy demonstrated that films about Black experiences could be both funny and meaningful, a balance that Friday would emulate in its own unique way. The film's focus on neighborhood life, everyday struggles, and character-driven humor owes much to Townsend's trailblazing approach. Similarly, the sketch comedy series In Living Color provided another blueprint for Friday's humor and tone. Known for its edgy, fast-paced sketches and keen observations of urban culture, the show demonstrated how comedy could reflect real-life experiences while remaining wildly entertaining. Gray and Ice Cube absorbed this energy, translating it into a narrative feature that celebrated the quirks, voices, and rhythms of South Central Los Angeles. The influence is evident in Friday's character-driven gags, memorable one-liners, and exaggerated yet relatable personalities, blending situational comedy with sharp social insight. By drawing from these sources, Friday inherited a legacy of culturally conscious humor, allowing it to resonate with audiences while solidifying its place in the lineage of groundbreaking Black comedy. Number 17. The significance of the number 143. Amid the humor and hijinks of Friday, there are small, quiet moments that carry emotional weight, one of the most poignant being Craig's father telling him 143. At first glance, it's a simple, almost cryptic line, but the number has a well-known meaning. Each digit corresponds to the number of letters in each word of the phrase, I love you. By saying 143, Craig's father conveys his love in a subtle, understated way, reflecting both the era and the way many fathers, particularly in working-class communities, express affection, through action or coded language rather than overt displays. This brief exchange enriches the film by adding depth to the father-son relationship, balancing the comedic chaos with a sense of heart and realism. Craig's interactions with his father often oscillate between tension and humor, mirroring the complicated everyday dynamics many viewers recognize from their own lives. The 143 moment is quiet, but meaningful, a small gesture that humanizes Craig's family and grounds the film in authentic emotion. It also highlights Ice Cube and DJ Pooh's attention to detail in scripting moments that feel lived in and truthful. In a film largely remembered for its humor, this subtle scene reminds audiences that Friday is not just a comedy about neighborhood antics. It's also a story about love, family, and the small ways people show they care, even when words are few. Number 18. The role of the ice cream truck. One of the most memorable and satirical elements of Friday is the ice cream truck operated by Big Worm, a neighborhood dealer whose seemingly innocent business hides a much darker truth. On the surface, the truck is cheerful and playful, a symbol of childhood nostalgia and carefree summer days. But in reality, it serves as a front for Big Worm's drug operations, cleverly blending the innocence of neighborhood life with the grit of the streets. This juxtaposition is a perfect example of the film's ability to mix humor with subtle social commentary, highlighting how elements of everyday life in urban communities can take on dual meanings depending on perspective. The ice cream truck also contributes to the film's comedic timing and tension. Craig and Smokey's encounters with Big Worm often involve humorous banter, clever evasions, and escalating stakes, making the truck more than just a prop. It becomes a character in its own right. Its presence reinforces the idea that South Central Los Angeles is a world where the ordinary and the illicit coexist, where a sunny summer afternoon can be punctuated by neighborhood conflict. By using something as familiar and lighthearted as an ice cream truck to signal danger and authority, director F. Gary Gray and co-writers Ice Cube and DJ Pooh highlight the film's sharp observational humor. The truck encapsulates Friday's genius, turning mundane elements of daily life into storytelling devices that are funny, relatable, and culturally resonant. Number 19. The significance of the bike. In Friday, the seemingly simple act of Debo stealing Red's bike becomes a pivotal moment that sets the tone for the film's exploration of neighborhood dynamics. On the surface, it's a humorous, almost cartoonish incident, but beneath the comedy lies a deeper commentary on respect, power, and retaliation in the community. Red, a quiet and otherwise unassuming character, is suddenly faced with an act of aggression that challenges his dignity. The bike isn't just a mode of transportation. It symbolizes personal property, pride, and the small but meaningful ways individuals assert themselves in their environment. Debo's theft triggers a chain reaction involving confrontations, schemes, and comical attempts at restitution, all of which reveal the delicate balance of fear, respect, and camaraderie that defines the neighborhood. It also serves as a lens through which audiences understand Craig, Smokey, and the surrounding residents, showing how even minor provocations can escalate and how social hierarchies operate on the street. The bike's presence reinforces the film's attention to everyday life. Small objects become loaded with significance, and ordinary events can carry outsized emotional weight. By using the bike as a narrative device, F. Gary Gray and co-writers Ice Cube and DJ Pooh highlight the interplay of humor, tension, and morality in South Central Los Angeles, making a simple stolen bicycle a cornerstone for both comedy and storytelling in Friday. Number 20. The film's enduring legacy. Decades after its release, Friday remains a cultural touchstone, a film whose influence stretches far beyond its modest $3.5 million budget. Its mix of humor, heart, and authenticity resonated with audiences, capturing the rhythms of everyday life in South Central Los Angeles in a way few films had before. Characters like Craig and Smokey, along with secondary figures such as Debo and Big Worm, became instantly iconic, embodying personalities that were both exaggerated and relatable. These characters, paired with unforgettable lines like "Bye Felicia," entered the public lexicon, influencing comedy, music, and even social media decades later. Friday's legacy also extends to its impact on filmmaking and television. By presenting Black urban life with humor and nuance, rather than relying solely on stereotypes of violence or crime, the film opened doors for future projects that explored similar communities in fresh, authentic ways. Sequels such as Next Friday and Friday After Next expanded its universe, while countless other comedies and TV shows have borrowed its balance of neighborhood storytelling, witty dialogue, and character-driven humor. Beyond entertainment, Friday became a reference point in discussions of pop culture, often cited for its insight into friendship, community, and the small moments that define everyday life. Its enduring popularity lies in this perfect blend of comedy, authenticity, and relatability, qualities that continue to attract new generations of fans, ensuring its place as a cult classic whose influence will be felt for years to come. What do you think about these facts? Leave us your comments in the section below. We hope you have found this helpful video. Don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you like it. Thank you for watching this, and see you in the next videos. Goodbye.